Okay.
What's that?
Reintroduce us.
Short, long, medium.
Right. I was
I
born.
like
I was born. Sort of heading. Look at the V's and the typeset and the space beside them.
Oh no! Why did you show me that? I showed you what I sent to Jace, right? Jace did all the graphic design for this.
All the tracking is good, apart from the.
This is what I sent to Jace yesterday. He did the graphic, all the posters and everything.
Yeah.
He said it's the French spelling.
If I showed that to Tian, that issue with the font, she would be happy.
Welcome back. A special thanks to Photo Warehouse, who's a sponsor of the 2025 New Zealand Amateur Photography Awards. We are now going to do the black and white category. And here is the description of this category. Not on that one. Or not. I don't have the description. It's a different one. But should we guess that it all has to be black and white? And it's pretty sure the subject can be. So the category for photographs that are captured or converted to black and white. This is an open category which allows images from any genre. Image scoring in this category will be determined based on the quality of the black and white conversion and how much this adds to the image. So we've got 25 images that we're going to go through, and we'll be able to let you know what they scored until we get to the top 10, because we don't know. And then you can come back at 5 o'clock and hear who the category winners are and the 3 finalists for New Zealand Amateur Photographer of the Year. And don't forget, if you're in Christchurch, come on down and have a look at the iris prints. And there are some most amazing images in there, and definitely worth the trip to come down. And there's also some that are up for auction. This will be held tomorrow night from 5 o'clock in 25, which is just next door. And if you're not sure where it is, just ask someone and they'll point you in the right direction. But I definitely got a couple of amazing prints last year, and they are now on my wall. So it's fabulous. But for now, we're going to get stuck in to our images. Oh, no, we're not. We're going to introduce the judges first. Go ahead, Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma Steele. I'm a local, actually the only Kiwi on this panel today. I have a portrait studio out near Rolleston. I've been entering the Iris Awards for about 5 years and been a finalist a few times in Illustrative, Portrait Open and Animal. And I've got my NZIPP Masters with 2 bars and had a stint on Honours Council and also the current Asia Pacific Portrait category winner.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris Anderson. I'm a performing arts photographer from Brisbane in Australia. So I photograph actors headshots, theater branding, dancers, and all kinds of super fun people. I think this is my 5th year entering Iris Awards, and I'm a member of the board for the NZIPP, which is super cool. And I'm the current Asia Pacific overall grand champion. That sounds really good. I'm going to finish with that. I can't beat that.
Hi, I'm Bruce Moyle. I'm a photographer. It's been 36 days. No. I'm a Tasmanian photographer, commercial. I've done documentary, I've done performing arts. I've done anything sort of in those realms. I'm known for my abstract and my abstract portraits. By day, I flaunt myself as a cinematographer, and by night, I pick up the stills camera. So, yeah.
So, lots of talent and amazing photographers that will be giving you feedback on these amazing images. So, here we go. This is 24th Equal, and it was highly commended. Congratulations.
Congratulations on 24th. This is a really interesting image. He almost looks like he's praying under the water there. I'm just trying to read through the image a bit and see the story. There's something going on there. It's interesting. The cascading water under his chin is interesting, and I just not quite sure what the story is. But to take it further, I'm not sure his bracelet on his arm looks a little blurred. Maybe he's just moved. I'd love to know more about this. I'm not sure the other judges might have more of a take on it.
I think what is missing because, as you can tell, there's a little bit of a struggle here for the story, is context. The praying into itself is not strong enough because we're not seeing a lot of emotion or anything to that nature, and the water just seems to be coming out of nowhere. So pulling back a bit and showing us why that water is hitting him in the head might help. And just be a little careful of the lighting as well. If it's a documentary photo, that's a bit hard to deal with, but if you can dodge and burn, look at his shoulder. It's a little bright to the rest of him. Bring us to that focal point you want us to see, which is his face and his head.
This image was also 24th Equal, and it was highly commended. Congratulations.
There's a really good sense of atmosphere in this. I appreciate the person's walking away from us. I think that's great. The path that they're following. So I think there's some really good bones to this image. I think if you wanted to elevate it, there's probably 2 things to look at. One is, at least in the format that we're looking at, the bottom left and right corners are really very, very dark, and they become quite dominant. So perhaps if we could find some more detail there, that would be great. Having this, I guess it's the sun towards the right-hand edge of the image as well. I get that that provides information about where we are, but I sort of feel like if you just crop that out, you'd be left with a much stronger kind of square crop, and it would feel, with the bullseye composition with the subject in the middle, would make this just land a bit more strongly. So there's a lot of excellent potential in here, though.
Can I just say, I think if you went for a panorama, you feel very cinematic.
Thank you, team. This image got 23rd and was highly commended.
I think the motion in this is gorgeous. The kind of the idea that the water is coming and going, and that motion blur that's through most of the image, but leaving the subjects intact is a really smart move. I actually find there's still some bits of wave towards the bottom of the frame, like closer to the viewer, that are still really crisp. And I almost wish that they weren't as crisp, but because they're very bright, they grab the eye. And when you get there, they don't necessarily reward you in the same way you want your eye to be drawn to the couple. So I kind of wonder if taking that smoothing technique and applying that, I'm assuming it was done in post, but for whatever, if those bits of foam were smoothed out a little bit more as well, then your eye would just land on that couple and live there. And I think that would be more rewarding.
This image was 20th equal and was awarded a silver award.
Sport is fun to shoot, especially dynamic sport like boxing, and being up and over the I'm almost feeling like you're in the ring, which is great. I think the biggest thing here is how dark it is. We've lost all context of where this is. I know we're really focusing on this guy's face, but it's a dynamic sport. You want to show that there's an audience, there's a crowd, there's something going on. The grain is not a problem for me because when you're in low lights and you're trying to deal with this, that is part of the energy of the shot. So yeah, keep playing with this because there's some great potential, and yeah, well done in getting into this space.
This image was 20th equal and was also awarded a silver award.
Gosh, this is quite a powerful image when it first comes up. It almost looks like a massive foot coming down there into the sea. It could be a number of things, making it very creative as well. And then I'm enjoying the waves or the ripples through the second part of the iceberg that's sort of mirrored in the sea in the back. As far as taking it further, I don't know, the little icebergs to the little sides, how relevant, they sort of pull your eye out of the image a little bit, and whether you need quite so much sky, but and I don't know if it's vignetting around the bottom or whether it's just the reflection of the white mass, white iceberg, whether we could see a little bit more detail on that. But other than that, it's big impact. Well done.
Can I just add on that one? Just be really careful when you're working with something with this much dynamic range that your edges, your really crisp edges, don't have any sort of black or white halos. There's quite a lot going through the clouds. So it's just a little bit of finessing there will actually help you bring it up more.
And I'll just let the new team members, your screen up there is about one stop darker than what this calibrated screen is. So just
Yep.
so you're aware, all these images were all judged on calibrated screens, but what the judges are currently viewing and giving you feedback on is just a big TV screen, so it's slightly different from what we can see.
So we might see detail in dark areas.
Yeah, the dark areas, I can see all the details. It's about one stop.
Thank you.
So this image also was 20th equal with a silver award.
Sport. Love sport. I don't actually love sport. I'm not a sporting person at all. So I'll take this. But I love shooting sport. Sport is great because it's dynamic and fun. You've got an awesome capture here in the left-hand side with the guy with the ball and this guy being tumbled off. And yeah, that's all dynamic. I don't think you need the guys on the right. I think if you did a crop and brought it in, it'll just play a lot more into the guy trying to get out of that tackle. The other thing I would say is taking note of this TV is just to be real careful about how bright the image is. Bring it down a little bit because jerseys and that do have a tendency to blow out if you're not careful, particularly when they're very contrasty, like obviously black and white. I don't know what colours they are, but yeah, so just a little bit of finessing on the top end. I think you're good to go.
This image was 18th equal and it got a silver award.
Well done to the photographer. This is quite a graphic image as well as it being obviously an action shot, but it from a distance you've got the squiggly trail lines that they've left behind, and then the clean snow underneath, which is really nice, and then the powder in the middle, and these skiers and even their shadows. I think you've kept this really well. What about any room for improvement, guys?
I don't know what category it could go in with editing or not, but I almost feel like the guy at the top could be removed or whatever. You want to maybe make it feel like ants on a trail or something. I feel like everybody else is fairly dynamic and that guy's stalled. Maybe that's the storytelling you want as well. Play with those ideas, but yeah. And the one right on the right hand side is maybe could be taken out as well, just to really streamline that there's an idea of these guys coming, guys, girls, them, they, everything coming down this hill.
Just super quick, there's one figure that's not in all black, that's in more white, and it feels like there's an opportunity to maybe build a composition that has a sequence of everyone in black, and that one that sticks out is breaking a series like that is really powerful.
Yeah.
And if you cropped in a little bit tighter to accentuate that, that could be great.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, there's.
I can see that. That would look cool.
Thank you. This image was 18th equal and got a silver award.
Well done, photographer. This is very atmospheric. You can feel the chill, and the fact that they've separated this front branches from these beautiful soft trees in the background, and the reflection. Not quite sure with our screen whether we're seeing sharpness or over sharpening around the frost, but would probably look at maybe the crops are having the centre, or I think the boys might have something to say.
Well, I'm not sure if it is or not, but it might be an infrared image, which is classically produced in black and white. Doesn't have to be, but in this instance it could be. And that's the reason why we get that so dynamic contrast of the blacks to the whites on the foreground. But we get that kind of white ochreish thing going in the background. And that's if that's how you've done it, that's a good choice for this subject. Improving it, I don't know, playing with the crop maybe. It's hard to say. Chris, do you have anything?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of edges of branch that are kind of coming out of the bottom of the frame, and that's just a bit distracting. Like if it's hard because it's an organic subject and you don't have control over it, but if there is a place that you can crop that doesn't just lop the fingers off of one of those branches, then that might feel a bit stronger. And similarly with the top, maybe this goes for 20 meters up. Maybe it goes a little bit. I think if you included a little bit more of that, that might contain us a bit more.
It has made me think of something. If you don't want to be literal, turn it on its side and crop it and make it feel like a crack coming through the frame.
This image was 17th and it was a silver award.
This gives me Easter Island, but on steroids for some reason. I don't know where that came from.
The hay bales.
Oh yeah, the hay bales, just the monoliths everywhere. You guys got anything?
It's really commanding. It's like because I'm kind of okay. You got Easter Island. I got kind of aliens.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're all marching towards us really slowly. So there's an otherworldliness about this that I think has been done really well. So this is really well seen, and you've earned a silver for it. So I think that's well deserved.
I almost, sorry.
No, I was just going to say there's one element that bugs me a little bit, which is towards the left, like on the left edge of the frame, there's an irrigation thing that isn't present on the right. The right has these beautiful, those hay bales, like the army of hay bale aliens off to the right is nice and small and tidy. And you can't change this, but I wish that there had been a mirroring of that on the left.
Yeah, it all depends on what category you're going on, but yeah, if you can get rid of that other man-made object, I know they're all man-made objects, but if you can get rid of the industrial one, which is that irrigation thing, I think it'll read better. The mountains are nice, and definitely set the moody scene, but I don't think that cascading cloud and fog coming down that left-hand side is worthy enough when you've got this really interesting central subject in the foreground going into the background.
Thank you very much. This image was 16th and got a silver award.
Pretty.
It's real pretty.
Is that legitimate? I think the bottom is just a bit too heavy. I think the crop could come up, to be honest. If you're going to go for a pano, but you can make it really thin if you want.
Yeah, the top is so beautiful with the blanketing and the, it almost looks like material has been draped. It's just stunning. And the reflection, if you just came up with the bottom of the crop, I think we would just stay in that beautiful part at the top, which is really where you want to stay with your eye. But well done.
This image was 15th and it got a silver award.
I can't pat it, can I?
No, I wouldn't suggest petting it.
Not more than once.
More than once.
Well done, photographer. This is a great capture, and the intensity in the eye and the look. You can either visualize that it's eyeing up its next breakfast or something, with the whiskers coming forward, which is usually when they're about to make motion, and even the tree limb in the middle there, it kind of imitates the shape of the body. I'm not quite sure if we need all the what do you call it? The left-hand side. I feel, yeah, a different, tighter, what do you call it? A vertical might work really well with this. Still giving a bit of space for the eye to see where it's looking through. But the capture of the face in itself, and I imagine there's probably some intense light that you're shooting this in. You've handled that really well. There's a little bit of bright on its, I guess it's rear leg just before it hits the neck. That could be toned down a bit. But well done.
I think the crop's really challenging. Like,
Yeah.
there's that bright area towards the bottom left, and I instinctively, like you, I want to crop it out. But then that branch would be sticking through the edge of the frame, and we would be unhappy that the branch was sticking out. So, like, there's a lot of potential choices here, and perhaps this is the best choice for the thing that we've got. So
I'm not sure. Like, yeah, I agree with you. There's lots of potential choices. Just my 2 cents would be that it's looking to the left, and that eye is almost center of frame. Conventionally, like if you're doing this in a filmic way, you want to have a bit more space on there. So you could either do that by cropping the right off, which I don't suggest, but if you made it more of a panoramic, not too much, you can actually emphasize the fact that it is looking left and that it's going somewhere or about to go somewhere.
This image was 14th and it was awarded a silver award.
Well seen.
Yeah, it's a lovely, peaceful type image in it. Loving the cropping and well, not the cropping, the framing of it. That really adds to the interest in the oriental look of it. And the serene lady in the middle. My only thought, there's quite a bright highlight on the right-hand side, bottom third wall, just on the edge of it and on the floor. Maybe that could tone down. But other than that, it's handled really beautifully. Well done.
no,
Congratulations to the photographer. We are now up to the 11th image, and this image was awarded a silver image. Silver award. Oh my goodness.
Where do we send coffee to?
Yeah, over here.
from a portraiture point of view, like, this is really simple, and I think there's power in having a simple portrait. And we see a lot of images that have people that are posing and, you know, smiling for the camera or whatever, and we're not getting that, which I think is great. Like, the subject is interested in something else that's going on outside of camera. So there's a little bit of intrigue about what's happening and how they feel. And I think that's, to me, that's the focus of this. It's a it's a portrait, but it's a natural moment where this quizzical look is coming into play. I think the lighting on the subject is really nice. I really like the way it's falling around the shoulders and collarbone. Like, it's lovely, and the skin tones are handled really well. Some of that, it can be really tricky to get that stuff right, and I feel like that's been done really effectively for this one.
Yeah, just to add, yeah, I was really enjoying the skin tones and the beautiful light on that. My only thought for improvement is the side of the face, this left side of the face is quite dark, and I think even on a calibrated screen, you might just want to bring out the shadows a bit so we can see even where the hair differentiates from the skin.
Thanks, team. This image was 11th equal and was awarded a silver award.
Well done, photographer, for 11th. This gives us quite thought-provoking, because we're like, what is she thinking? Is she leaving from somewhere or weary of something? She's definitely got a concerned expression on her face, and then with the beautiful building in the background giving us some sort of place, the texture across it with the cracks is fairly dominating. I'm not sure it needs to be. The building behind is beautiful. The tones are a little different between her and the little trees, and then the background's sort of more peaceful. Yeah, do you get anything?
Yeah, so I'm imagining this to stop higher on a calibrated monitor, and that makes the background really peaceful, which is great. It would just give it, the cracks wouldn't be quite as dominant.
Right.
It'd give that the sense of the Taj Mahal and Agra. It's there but not overpowering. So I'm kind of looking at it through that lens. I feel like there's a lot of birds in there,
Yeah.
and this might be a less is more situation where I'm spending some time, like, she's looking up in that direction, so that's good. There's a connection between the subject and the action, which is those birds, but I don't sort of understand why they're there. Like, there's a lot of information being given to us, and it's unclear where we're meant to land. So for that, it means I'm going to come back to the subject, and I think it's a beautiful subject. Love her hands and what's going on in her hands, and I feel like maybe this was made to explain the look that she's giving. Maybe that's why this was built the way that it was, and that's a smart choice.
Yeah, I think the thing with the birds is that they're so big comparative to that tower on the right hand side, and they feel disjointed and slightly out of whack because of that, and there is a lot of them. I think the thing I would say is the concept's definitely there, but blending it together and making sure it feels like all the same image is the challenge, and that just takes a bit of practice and just stepping back from it and looking, taking a breath, walking away for a day, coming back, just refining over time to find that it all sits together nicely.
This image was also 11th equal and was awarded a silver award.
I think the thing I see in here is the control of highlights, and I know we're not looking at a great monitor for this, but if this is a stop brighter, then we've got some really full-on brightness going on through behind the tree, and there's little bits of grass and stuff which are sort of melding together. I think controlling it, snow is stupidly hard to control. Like, it's right at the top end of your sensor. So look at what, not just the main subject, but all those little details when you're shooting, just to like go, even if you shoot like half a stop under and you bring it up later, because you need to protect those highlights. It's sort of the opposite. If you're in dark environments, you want to protect your shadows to a point, and so you can keep detail. In this instance, you need to protect your highlights so you can actually keep some details.
Ooh, now we're getting to the top 10.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So these top 10, we don't know, they're in a random order. We don't know what they've scored. So congratulations to the next top 10. And then the winner of the category will be announced at 5 o'clock tonight. So here we go. Top 10, talk them away. Here's the first one.
Well, congrats. I actually really enjoy the toning and the blooms and the flowers. But my first comment, like instantly, it's as a still life, it's shot nicely, it's shot well, it's posed well, the styling's good. There's these black blobs in the left and right near the top middle, which sort of is incongruent with the rest of the actual work that's been done on this. I don't know if it's because of this monitor or if it's just, they're just a little too dark. Even if it isn't this, you can't see them? All right. That would be my only thing. Like, they either need to be there or not there, because at the moment they're so dense that they sort of, you don't notice them at first, but it is the thing that is distracting now that I've seen it.
It's a great subject too. Like the vase is wonderfully feminine, and that's gorgeous. So I mean the building blocks are great, and you know, top 10 finalists, awesome work.
And just be careful that top middle right one, that one feels not as well put together as the rest of them.
Awesome, thank you. Here is the next one that's welcomed into the top 10.
I'll recognise your little pun there.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. I feel like this is your wheelhouse, Bruce.
My wheelhouse.
Abstract guy.
Abstract guy. I'm not sure if we need it as a triptych. It's one of those things when you're doing this sort of work, you either have a triptych to really tell a story, or every part enhances the other part. And at the moment, I am not seeing that. The left and the right image are both going diagonally top left to top bottom right, so it doesn't feel harmonious. The middle one, I'm not sure what it is. It could be a creature, it could be something else, it could be something racing, like a cat or something. The pareidolia is in that one more than the other two. I think you either find something that reads together, even if it is abstractly, so you can feel balanced, or really put tension into it, or find something that is actually going to potentially read maybe a bit easier. Not always, but yeah, always be a bit careful when you're going for the multi-image thing like that, it's going to bring a story somehow. Maybe I'm just missing it.
So I don't know if it needs a story, but I think it needs to have a progression, and they need to be in the right place or arranged the right way. And I can see a beautiful flow through this. Like, it does undulate, as you know, top left-hand corner down, back up again through the central image, and back down again. So like I can see why these images were chosen, and I think it makes sense. So
Maybe the order needs to be changed.
I love the order. If I was going to do anything, I'd maybe take. This is going to be really awfully specific. I'd take the one on the right and I'd flip it so that the hard edge of the curve is at the top, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was saying about the top,
right.
the bottom thing, yeah.
So, but like, that's the beauty of something that's abstract like this. Like, you're seeing some pareidolia in it. I'm trying to inoculate myself against pareidolia a little bit, and I want to enjoy the way it feels, and I do. So I think that's really effective. And the teeniest little thing. There's a white outline around all three boxes, and the one on the right is just a little bit stronger. So that's like a tiniest little bit of finessing that I would love to have seen a little differently.
But well done for being a finalist.
And here we go, our next top 10.
Well done, photographer, top 10. You've definitely given us a subject that you're questioning what is going on in her world. Almost looks, because of what she's looking through, that she's got a black eye on the left side, which leads you to all sorts of stories. The highlights on this just seem quite bright to me. I'm not sure if that's on the screen. So just on her neck, that's quite, my eye sort of goes from there and then up to just the forehead, the right-hand side. If they were toned down a bit, you would probably just keep coming back to their eye, which is telling you so much. So yeah, perhaps have another little finesse of this. It's beautiful, and the texture of it makes it look a little bit Van Gogh-y. Congratulations.
I think I agree about the highlights.
Yeah, same.
It's I'm doing the air crop thing if you're at home, where I'm almost cropping out all the highlighted stuff and just leaving the bit where it has the grays and it feels stronger to me. So that could be a thing. I really love whatever medium we're shooting through to make this.
Yeah.
It looks like a fingerprint. And I kind of love the idea that a fingerprint is unique and that a face is unique. So I think that's those little bits of chaotic motion coming through here. It's a really well chosen thing to shoot through, medium, that's the word, to shoot through. So it was like, this is such a smart idea, and I think it's been executed quite well. Just a little bit more control over the lighting to finesse those highlights would have helped.
Yeah, and my only thing is I think the top could be just brought in just slightly. I just feel like there's just a little bit too much headroom. I find the lines going past her head quite distracting. But, you know, I wish I thought it was something like that.
That's the biggest compliment you can give, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's cool.
And if you're wondering what the little pause is when we put a new photo up, the 3 judges are just looking at these images and just admiring them and then working out what they're going to talk to you about.
We haven't seen them before.
Yeah, no, they have not seen them before. This is the first time they've seen them. So they're looking at them and critiquing them and then giving you some really awesome positive feedback. So here is the next one.
Danger kitten.
Go and pat that one.
I will.
Can I have your stuff?
Gosh, there's an intensity in this lion's stare that would make you back off pretty quickly. Well done for capturing that. And his down, but his muzzle, the hairs on that, they're very tactile, and the wind blowing in his mane definitely gives you this power and this amazing creature. Looking to improve it, there's a line up the top in the blacks. That's obviously something in the background. I would perhaps take that out. I'm assuming you can in this category. And I'm not quite sure if some of the shadows down in his chest and his back leg are just maybe losing some detail, and just bring some back there. This is a lovely image. Well done.
There's a lot of power and intensity in that face, and it's old. You know, it's not like a young face. So I feel a real sense of connection and you know, danger with this. Respect. That's
Yeah.
great. I understand the crop and having the body in the crop. Part of me wants to suggest cropping and toning just to get that strong face in the main. But I think we've seen a lot of images like that.
Yeah,
So I think the choice to leave that body in there, which is texturally quite different, is a smart one. So thank you for not doing the expected thing.
And here we go. Here's the next one of our top 10.
I love that in all of these, from what I can see anyway, the faces are crisp, the beaks are crisp, and the wings are not. Like, I love that. There is a sense of motion and dynamism in these, and I don't know whether this is a construction whether these are 5 individual birds or, just kind of all thrown up in the air at once, or if this is stuff put together. It doesn't really matter, actually. I kind of appreciate that they're looking around, and there's one that's looking square at us, and he's coming in for a landing, which is a bit scary. So I think they've been, regardless of whether they were arranged because that's how they flew or whether we put it together, I like the way they're arranged kind of in a funnel that's sweeping down in an arc towards the bottom right. Like, I think that reads really nicely.
Well done to the photographer, because this was obviously shot in harsh light, and it's really hard to shoot. I think it's doves.
They're doves, I'm pretty sure.
With their white wings, with the harsh light going through them, and keep enough detail there. And so you've done really well. Yeah, just wanted to mention that.
And here's the next stunning image in the top 10.
Okay, this is stunning. The tonal control in here is great. There's detail everywhere. There's detail in the light sections. There's detail in the dark sections. There's texture where you want it. It's got the right amount of cropping to the left and the right and the top and the bottom. That stem coming out of the bottom is what it should be. I don't have any suggestions for improvement on this.
Very nice still life. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, Chris.
Yes, it's beautiful. I agree with all of that. I'm just wondering where that bud is. That's the left, and there's a petal that from the main flower meeting that bud. There just seems to be a bit of a highlight or something missing there. Can you see that, guys, or is it just?
Is that like just from that left?
The bottom of the bud,
The
and
bud.
then the petal.
Like there's something obscuring between two bits of, I don't know what that is.
In the dark section.
Yeah, see the bud
Yeah.
below it. Then it comes down in the petal. There's a bit of a. Just don't quite fully understand that there, but oh, here we go. Bruce is going to point. Keep going up. Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Keep. No.
Are we allowed to be pointing at the television like this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's much more exciting in person, everyone, I promise.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, guys. It was just easier
the
to
team's
get up and
pointing at
point
them.
at things.
They're pointing at the
It's
table.
a very minor thing. The rest of it's beautiful. I'm really enjoying the dark little petals inside the main flower. It's a beautiful mess, and you can kind of feel the velvety look of it. Well done.
Feels like pencil sketch.
Yeah.
Some great chat there. And here we go. You guys are going to lose your jobs.
This is what AA looks like. I'm there for it.
This is a cute capture. Funny take on things. Loving the collar on the one on the right. It's got lots of little bangly things on. The dog on the left, she's giving a nice little smile. She's even got her pearls on. Again, I'm not sure if it's our screen, but on our screen it looks like there's no detail in her left ear.
Yeah.
So just watch that. If you brought that down in more detail, yeah, it's comical and it's cute. Well done.
The thing I would look at maybe is the positioning in the light, because it's on the left and we do have white animals or animals with very light fur. You don't want it to be. The problem with it is obviously the light is closer to the left-hand subject to the right-hand subject, and that. Might I suggest putting the light behind the subject so we actually get more of a shadow on one side? You don't want it to be dark, you want it to be soft, but if you could then emphasize the tonality closer to camera, especially with the light color subject, you'll actually get something a little bit more dramatic, but also you'd get something that looks just as cool as this, I think, with the right control and the right placement.
I think just watch the post-production on the photographer dog's snout as well. Like, it's just starting to get really bright there. I think the highlights have been controlled much better on the photographer dog.
Yeah, because I think it's further away.
on the light. Yep.
Yeah.
Great commenting. And here we go. Here's the next one.
Asking two Aussies to comment on a uh, something we may not know about. This is cool. And is it COVID?
Vaccine
Yeah.
mandate.
Oh yeah, I see vaccine. Yeah, I just saw the two classic Kiwis.
Well done, photographer. You've given us quite a crazy, chaotic, probably showing the emotion of the people that are there, obviously protesting the COVID bill. Yeah, crazy time as it was. I keep being brought back to the lady at the front because she's more in, in focus. Two classes of Kiwis. So I'm still taking this image in, but you're definitely giving us there's emotions involved in this vibe, so well done for that.
Okay, I'm starting to see stuff beyond the actual messaging. So this lady, let's try and make this easy to explain for people online. You've got the two classes of Kiwi. Then if you go to the left to the lady in the black looking down, if you come down to her legs, their shadow or something just is a hard line. It just cuts off. Like I thought this was good. Hopefully, I was thinking that this was done all in camera, but I don't think it is. So if you're going to do melding to make a chaotic scene like this, which is done for the most part really, really well, and congrats on that. The little details, particularly when they're right in the front, are the things that will make or break you, and that sort of thing there might not get picked up on a casual view, but somebody who's going to scrutinise this to judge it might or will pick it up. I've picked this up. The other one I would say is this guy on the right-hand side in the foreground is looking down the line, but he doesn't have any tension or anything because I find that he's not giving anything interesting compared to the lady in the middle. And that's actually kind of the same with the lady on the left as well.
Where if they were like fully engaged and
Fully engaged, either leaving or getting involved. Beyond that, I think it's a great study and an idea of what was a chaotic time and an angry time for a lot of people.
when you're at ground level, it's hard to see lots of signs. You can see the ones that are right in front of you, but to present, like choosing to do this technique means we can fill that space at the top with chaos and signs, and so it's noisier, and like I can feel the energy of the protest much more because of that technique. So that's a really smart application of that technique.
Yeah, and one of the things I would say is excellent choice to do this in black and white. If this was in colour, it'd be too much.
Yep.
And the other little note I'd like to point out is the stop light right at the top left-hand corner. That's just a little detail I like because everybody should be stopped, but it's not.
All right, and then something else that's a little bit different for you to talk about.
I think this is powerful. I'm not sure what all the marks are on this person's hands. I'm hoping they're not self-inflicted, but they could be. Eh, or even if they aren't self-inflicted, I don't know what caused it. My biggest thing outside of the striking image is that hand feels pasted on due to the post-production. It doesn't feel like it amalgamates with the rest of the image. It's been overly processed. It's flat. And like there's like line around the hands, the fingers and stuff like that. So I think as a concept, as an image, you've got something here really, really good story-wise. I think the post on this is letting it down a little.
I kind of appreciate the implication of violence in the hand, right? Whether like I don't see that as self-inflicted. I see that as there's been biff, right? And
Yeah, okay.
and
Like,
because that hand motion feels like a violent hand signal, right? So like pair all that together, and I think there's a strong story. I think the thing that I'd be looking at is the background, where I don't necessarily understand why having the spiky plants coming out the back and the kind of that almost tiger-like Leopard, thank you. Leopards have spots, tigers have stripes, right?
Oh, I
Leopards,
didn't even
good.
see that. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like a kind of,
cheetah.
thank you. It's a learning day for everyone. That once you start spending time in that part of the image, it's taking you away from where you should be spending your time. So I think thinking about like the subject is important, the background's super important too, because it can either set context or it can distract or it can melt away and let you just sink into the subject. I'm curious about how much detail is in the dark sections of this, because there's not a lot. Okay, and maybe that's all right. Maybe that's part of the point of this is all the textures in the face. But there's, I think there's really good building blocks in this.
Oh,
And it's,
yeah.
You know, it's obviously it's got a strong message, which is why it's made it to the top 10 and it deserves to be there. So there's excellent concepts in here that are worth developing even further.
And I hope that person's okay. And well done for getting in the finalists.
And here we go, the lucky last one of our top 10.
This is super smart. Just just having that main subject of the vase and the flowers with the curve and all that would have been a lovely image. That would have been a lovely still life. Choosing to incorporate the shadow, having the vase close to that back wall, having that shadow be there and be pretty crisp actually, is lovely. It gives a nice repetition. I think I'm there's a little bit of separation between the brightest edge of the vase and the background, and I want to see just a little bit more. So I feel like if that, and you know, we might not have control over the wall or whatever, but I feel like if that wall was a little bit not quite as bright, it would let them, not the silhouetted subject, but the main subject shine even more.
I think that's a point that a lot of, well, I'm going to assume a lot of photographers don't think about is your white point doesn't have to be pure white. It can be a bit darker because in context to the rest of the image, as long as that's the brightest part of the image and it's not full grey, well, you can go there if you want. That becomes your tonal range. So you don't have to clip it right to the end of the spectrum. And it's the same with your shadows. You get the control with the black point and the white point is. So playing with that it would be key on that. I like this. It feels like it's racing along, even though it's still. I think that's kind of fun, and I think the shadow is the reason why it makes it like that. It's a little character running off. I think the other thing I'd say, and this is more of a styling thing, is it feels like the bench it's on is dirty. And everything on the left-hand side outside the shadow feels like it's dusty. They're the sort of things that you probably want to be careful of, particularly when you're hard lighting like this, because every little bit of dust, grain, sand, dirt, dust bunnies will turn up.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. It does. They do look like characters, and it's a lovely play with that. My only wee thing is on the shadow version of the vase, the right-hand side between the edge of the vase and the background seems quite sharp compared to the left-hand side of the same shadow of the vase. So just maybe have a wee finish of that. But great idea. I'm really enjoying it. Well done.
And congratulations, that is our top 10.
Go,
So
you got top 10.
don't forget, at 5 o'clock tonight, we'll have the category winners will be announced, along with the 3 finalists for New Zealand Amateur Photographer of the Year. So make sure you stick around to watch that or be here when we do announce it. And the New Zealand Photo Show is on this Friday and Saturday, and it's not too late to get your ticket if you are in town. You can have a single workshop, 1 day or 2 day event, and there's a fabulous lineup of workshop-based events. Plus on Sunday, we have a range of masterclasses if you are after some more in-depth learning. Book online at New Zealand Photoshop. Oh my goodness.
Photo
New
show.
Zealand Photoshow.co.nz. I think I need a Red Bull.
Yeah.
Thanks,
And we'll
everybody.
see you very shortly at 2:30 for photojournalism.
How was that okay?
was. Yeah, and it's like someone's gonna. No, someone doesn't. Someone.
I thought the shadows come on.